You're listening to the Peace with Anxiety podcast. I am your host, Irene Evangelou, anxiety counselor and clinical hypnotherapist. I'll be coming to you every week to share actionable tips, simple strategies, and useful resources to help you break free from high-function anxiety. We'll be covering how to recognize and understand your anxiety, strategies to change your thoughts and feelings, and ways to implement long-lasting change. If you're trying to overcome people-pleasing behaviors, navigate anxiety, living in self-doubt, or something else keeping you stuck, then you are in the right place. I know that you're ready to get to the next level of your life, feeling free, calm, confident, and in control. So let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 16 of the Peace with Anxiety podcast. I have a quick episode for you today. I had a realization recently when I had just finished a session with my client, and then I started thinking about all those non-client related tasks that I had to do, like planning for the next week's podcast, updating forms, changing my website, taking care of social media, marketing my private practice. And mind you, it's only me in my private practice, so it is up to me to make sure everything runs smoothly. And it's fair to say that I have been managing everything well. But lately, I started to notice that I feel a bit more tired than usual. And I have been struggling to rest. I realized that I was starting to fall back into past habits of overworking, stretching myself thin, and thinking about work from the moment I woke up till the moment I closed my eyes. And I remember that week in another session, the topic of rest came up, and we were discussing with my client how she was also struggling to look after herself, and we started making a plan for taking pauses throughout the day to help her rest, and also challenging that belief that rest is not necessary. And I remember I told my client that it was okay to rest. And the moment I said it, I felt a sense of relief, and I thought to myself that I should probably listen to my own words and my body signals for a pause. But it was interesting for me to see that this habit, this tendency to ignore my body's cues is still with me. And I felt that it was important to talk about it here in this podcast. So if you resonate with this podcast, then I'm willing to bet that you are a high-functioning, high achiever, perfectionist, and you might also have difficulty setting boundaries and all the things that come with these things. And if that is the case, then it is very likely that you are not giving yourself permission to rest. Or if you try to rest, you feel guilty or ashamed for not doing something. And maybe if you're like some of my clients or the past version of me, then maybe you also grinding your teeth more at night. You may have a stiff neck and tired eyes, or you may be saying things to yourself like, I will rest when I get there, when I have that, or I will know when it's time. But you and I both know that when never comes. There is always something else that's going to need your attention. And it could be why you are unable to feel calm and you're always tired. So I come here to tell you that the reason why I did not release an episode last week was because I was tired. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't an easy choice. I felt guilty, like I was letting you all down. And admitting that with you feels really intimidating. But I really felt exhausted, both mentally and physically. And as a high achiever myself, that is something that I used to never admit to myself. And it took years to be able to recognize when I am overdoing. And more importantly, to give myself permission to pause and rest. So, like I said, I was very surprised when I realized that somehow I missed those signs. And again, I pushed myself too much to silence that inner voice that was trying to tell me to stop. So I know that you have those days too, and I want to be real with you and tell you that I have them too. And instead of coming down too hard on myself or pushing my limits even more, I have a choice, and I can choose to pause, to stop, and to notice. And that is exactly what I did. So going back to my client, without getting into much detail, she was describing feelings of restlessness, overwhelm, and overthinking. She felt tired from the moment she would wake up, and she would immediately start working 10 minutes after waking up. She was saying that her anxiety was so high and was really, really tired. And in our session, what came up for her was that she was not listening to her body. And what I mean by that is basically inside of you, there is a part of you that is screaming and asking you to stop, but you keep ignoring it or pushing it to the side, and you might tell yourself that you do not have the time for that right now, or that you do not deserve to rest, and that it is not that bad, I will sleep at night. But when night comes, you either struggle to fall asleep or you wake up at night. So, what if you listen to that inner voice and you paused and you did nothing? Rest is something we often overlook in our lives. We are taught to keep pushing, to always be productive, to see rest as something we have to earn. Now, there's a lot of science behind this, but rest is crucial to our health, to our mental health, and to our physical health. It helps improve our cognitive function, boosts our creativity, and even strengthens our immune system. When we don't allow ourselves to rest, we are actually harming our productivity in the long run. I used to think I had to be constantly on the go to be successful, but I've learned that listening to my need for rest is actually a form of self-respect. It's saying to yourself, I value myself enough to take care of my needs. So going back to my question, what if you paused for 5 minutes today? And I want to ask you one more thing. When was the last time you did something just for fun? Something that made you laugh or filled you with a sense of excitement. As high achievers, we often forget how important fun is. We get so caught up in our responsibilities that we neglect the things that brings us joy. Maybe think about when you were a little girl. What were some things you did that brought you joy? Was it coloring, playing with toys, singing, or dancing? Make a list and pick one thing that you would want to try again. For me, fun means spending time with family and friends, reading a good book, or doing a thorough skincare routine. And taking care of yourself is about feeling good. For me, doing something for myself, whether it's a skincare routine, reading a book, or being around family, is a form of self-care. It's a way to slow down, connect with myself, and show myself some love. It's a ritual that signals to my body and mind that it's time to wind down and relax. A moment of calm in my day, a chance to pause and focus solely on myself. These activities might seem simple, but they are incredibly powerful. They help me, and they can help you as well feel more balanced and energized. And they will remind you of what truly matters. So I encourage you to think about what activities are fun for you. Maybe it's painting, gardening, dancing, or playing a sport. Whatever it is, make time for it. Because fun and play aren't just for kids. They're a crucial part of our well-being. It helps us relax, reduce stress, and boosts our creativity and productivity. Fun is the simplest form of self-care, and embracing it can transform your life. Okay, before we wrap up today's episode, I want to suggest a little exercise for you to help you recognize the need for a pause and what you can do about it. Are you tired of the relentless battle with anxiety? Are you ready to calm your mind, embrace peace, and reclaim your life? Then I've got just the right thing for you. Join my free 21-day Relieving Anxiety Meditation Challenge by clicking the link below in the show notes. So start by taking a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and slowly exhale. Close your eyes and focus on what your body feels. Are there any areas of tension? What kind of thoughts are running through your mind? Now take a moment to think of an activity that makes you really happy. And picture yourself doing that. See yourself doing this fun activity. How does it feel? And finally, think about how you can introduce more of that activity into your life. Because even small moments of fun and play can make a big difference. And you can use this exercise, those simple questions, whenever you feel overwhelmed. It is a great way to center yourself and listen to what your body needs. So I hope this discussion has been helpful and that you feel empowered maybe to listen to your need for rest. And I want you to remember that taking a pause is an act of strength and self-respect. By listening to your body, acknowledging what you're feeling, and doing also something fun, you can build resilience and reduce anxiety. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps others find the show. So take care, be kind to yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Peace with Anxiety podcast. If you found any value in today, I would really appreciate if you would leave me a review and share this episode on your Instagram story, tagging me at Irene, the Anxiety Therapist. Also, make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. All the links are found below in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward